Hey, it's Joe Amoya, the Smarter Dating Guy, and I've got a question for you. Are looks important? It's a question that's been going on for years. The age-old debate is that looks are important, or you know what? It's only what's on the inside that really matters. That the packaging doesn't matter. We should really look at just what's on the inside. Well, what I believe is that unless you're Mother Teresa, how are you going to be in a relationship with someone if you're not attracted to them? Now, being attracted to someone is totally different than going for the perfect looks. Where the hair is perfect, which is obviously a characteristic that I didn't meet. Thank God my wife didn't look for that one. Whether a person's teeth are perfect, whether they've got huge biceps, the perfect body, you know, that's a totally different story. But let's be real. You've got to be attracted to someone because we've all had that person in our life, you know, who was a good person. And when we were hanging out on the couch, playing tonsil hockey and getting intimate, there was that part of us that just couldn't make it work. You know what I'm talking about. We just couldn't get over that physical barrier. Now, some of us, if you're like me, you try and make it work and you rationalize saying, but they're such a good person. They have all these wonderful characteristics. But I believe we like what we like for whatever reasons. And that if you're not attracted to someone, you're not attracted to someone. It's no different than if you don't like sushi or you don't like Italian food or you don't like Chinese food. You like what you like. And so if you just can't get over the physical barrier, I think that it's just a sign that that's not the right person for you. Now, the good news is looks are so subjective. And I'm going to give you an example. Several years ago, when I was studying for my graduate, we were hanging out at a club. It was a club bar kind of place. And I was talking to this woman. And we were getting along, having a great conversation. And all of a sudden, her girlfriend comes along. And her girlfriend, something was going on. And she's like, come on, we got to get out of here. And so the girl that I was talking to turned around and says, but you know what? I'm having a good time. I'm hanging out talking to Joe. We're really getting along well. And she turns around, she looks at me, turns to her girlfriend and says, well, what are you talking to him for? He's ugly. And I got to admit, I was taken aback. Not so much that she said it, but how she said it. And there was two parts of me. There was the part of me that wanted to literally slap her in the face going, who the hell do you think you are? But there was that part of me that felt like the rejected puppy. I wanted to take my tail, put it between my legs, and walk away. So long story short, she left, and I was a little down. To say that my ego didn't take a hit, I'd be lying. So I moved over, and I wound up connecting with a group of friends that were there, and I wound up sitting down at their table and talking to them. And long story short, at the end of the night, one of my friends comes over and he says, Lisa's girlfriend, who was his girlfriend's friend, said that her friend thought that I was attractive and wanted to know what I thought of her. Now, I found this very ironic because about an hour earlier, this one girl was calling me ugly, and yet here, my friend's girlfriend thought that I was attractive. And at that moment, what I learned, and was a very valuable lesson, is that, I had no control over whether somebody found me attractive or not. So what I learned is that I was only going to pursue those people who found me attractive. And if somebody didn't find me attractive, it had nothing to do with me and had everything to do with what they found attractive for whatever their reasons were. So, we spend all this time worrying about ourselves and, trying to make ourselves attractive. And you know what? I'm all for being the best you can be. But if you know you're the best you can be, then you have no control over what somebody else thinks or what they like. So instead of worrying about what somebody else thinks or like, just focus on being the best you can be. And if they don't like you, it's not a reflection on you. It's just a reflection of them and their taste. So hopefully this connected with you, but I want to know what you think. Are looks important? What's your experience? Have you tried to make a relationship work with someone who may not have been the type of person you were looking for. So put your comments down below. As always, it's always a pleasure to hear from you. And we'll see you next week. God bless. Have a great weekend.